A tsunami warning is in place for the Philippines and Japan after a magnitude 7.5 earthquake struck in the Philippines. The quake struck Mindanao in the country's south at a depth of 63 kilometres. The warning has triggered evacuation orders in parts of the Philippines and southwestern Japan due to warnings of tsunami waves of a metre or more. There have been no immediate reports of damage or injuries, and there is no tsunami threat to Australia.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Straw Hat Outdoors. As you can see, I am back at home. I have my fishing poles right here. Have not gone fishing yet. I got to go back to work here in the next couple of days. But before I get on with what I want to say today, which is about the earthquake, I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. I've been kind of dreading on creating this video because nothing's bad happened. It's just it's making me keep making my mind recycle, going back and forth with what happened over there in the Philippines. As you saw in one of my previous videos, the first earthquake I experienced over there, it's not my absolute first earthquake because I did have one that I did experience a couple of them at work, but over there at work there was like nothing around and it barely bounced up and down on some of the stuff, so it wasn't bad for me. But over here in Davao, what was this? I believe it was a 6.9 or 6 point something in the first one, the very first one. A couple of days as soon as I got after, a couple of days after I made it to the Philippines. That's the one where it hit in the Sarangani Bay, and a 7.2 hit stronger towards General Santos, over there, then closer to Davao where I was staying at with my missus. The following weeks that I was there, those days were fantastic. There was no earthquakes. Everything was fine. It did rain a couple of days, but it's been like that. Every day, every 2 or 3 days, every other day it would rain for 2 or 3 days, but it was mostly in the evening, so I mean it was nothing to worry about. On the last night before I had to fly out, not the very last night, but the night before at my flight, I was still a little bit shaken up from the first earthquake, but it wasn't bad because so much time has already passed. And then my missus was at work, and I was there in the condo, getting stuff packed up, getting ready, whatever I needed to do to get ready. And while I was washing dishes, I started feeling a little rumbly. I don't, for some reason, it even came up in my mind that about an earthquake, and when it popped in my head, it happened shortly after. So it was kind of freaky, and that earthquake was a 7.6, the absolute biggest earthquake I've ever experienced. It did get me shaken up because of I was on the second floor in a building, and it felt worse because I was a higher elevation. So like the higher you are, the more of a motion sickness you get. Like let's say if you go offshore fishing and the swells are kind of bad for moving around, you're not going to want to be in the front of the bow because the bow is going to be bouncing up and down. It's going to be giving you that motion sickness. You prefer to be behind the boat. So it's the same thing. You don't want to be in the tallest part of the building because when that earthquake's happening, you're going to be swaying around harder versus being down here on the ground. After that earthquake hit, I ran outside. I was using internet, so I was able to contact people using the Wi-Fi. But when I got away from the Wi-Fi, I had to turn off my airplane mode, get that phone service, and I had to start contacting my missus to see how she was doing because she was at work. And thankfully, she's fine, and there was no damage in the surrounding area. She wasn't even that far from where I was at either. But I didn't see any damage around the buildings where we were staying at, and she was already going to be out of work within 15 minutes from that earthquake. So I told her, look, I'm gonna wait out here while everybody's outside of the buildings, because everybody rushed outside. While everybody was outside of the buildings, I was gonna wait for her there until she got back before going in. And when she got there, she told me how everything was at work, and we went back inside. It really did get me a bit shaken up, that one, because it was stronger than the first one I felt. And in my mind, I thought, okay, the first one happened and then it stopped. This one happened, so I'm thinking it might stop. We might feel an aftershock here and there, and it's gonna stop. But that didn't happen. So what happened is that we got back in. We stayed in the living room. We're awake. We're thinking, okay, we're gonna stay up a little bit longer, see what's gonna happen, and then maybe go to sleep or get ready to go to sleep. Well, while the missus was getting ready to shower, I was in the dining room area, and I felt another shake. Now this one wasn't as bad as the first one, but I felt another shake, and I look at the lights. The dining table has some hanging lights, and they started swinging back and forth, and I'm like, hey, get out! We need to get going. The earthquake's happening again, or an aftershock's happening. We gotta run. So she got out of the restroom, checked through the sliding door, through the window that we had, and saw everybody running outside again. We got stuff together just real quick, just ran back outside because you need to be out of these buildings. I'm not very smart as far as earthquake procedures, because all we have over here is hurricanes, some major storms, and maybe a tornado or two once every 10 years. I think the last tornado we had was about 6 years ago, so it has to be a really major storm for us to have a tornado, but a hurricane does pop up every so often. We rushed back outside, and the procedure is we're supposed to wait outside 20 minutes or so before entering the building again. And so we did just that. And by this time, I'm already thinking, man, why is this happening? That's the second quake or aftershock, whatever it was. It happened within an hour and a half. And it happened. And I'm going home within 24 hours. So the second quake happened. We went back inside, and I told her, look, go get showered, do whatever you gotta do, but do it quick and be ready. So whenever she got done, we stayed in the living room, and we stayed up a little bit longer. While we saw we had a chance, I said, let's go lie down, let's try to get some sleep. By this time it was already 1:30 in the morning, almost 2 o'clock. We decided to go lie down. She had already packed some clothes, some important documents, the stuff that we need in backpacks, just in case we had to really rush and get away from there. We were getting ready to abandon the condo if it was going to fall apart, and I was going to lose a whole bunch of stuff, but thankfully that building was built very strong. So we got in bed, and we closed our eyes, and not 10 minutes later, I mean, I was shaky. I was still feeling real jittery. But not 10 minutes later, I felt the bed shake. Like, oh, is this somebody moving the bed, or is this us? So I say, hey, wake up! It's happening again. So you get up. I run outside, and I see the lights swinging again. We had another earthquake just as we were trying to sleep, and my mind's already running. Like, I need as much rest as I can. I'm about to travel 15 plus hours to get home, and this is crazy. So we get up again. We get out of the bed. We didn't run out the door or anything. Not too many people went out the door. Everybody just stayed inside the building, which we're not supposed to do. We need to get out the building, but we just decided, let's just stay here, stay in the living room for a while, and whatnot. And 30 minutes we stayed, and I told her, look, let's go lie down. You get as much sleep as you can. I'm gonna stay up. If something big happens, I'm gonna wake you up and we're gonna rush outside. We're gonna run. Um, I tried contacting some friends, letting them know what's going on, informing people, my friends and family over here that we're okay, but this is what's happening. I eventually fell asleep at 3:30. It was in the middle of the night. I was exhausted. There was no more quakes, and I believe we were okay at the moment. So I passed out. I needed to get some sleep. When we woke up around 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and I checked, okay, was there another quake? Did it stop? Yes, at 4:52 in the morning there was another earthquake reported, but we had already been passed out. We were tired, but thankfully, again, nothing happened. We got some rest. We were trying to figure out what's going to happen, and go from there. And that's when I got online, tried to find out how many earthquakes happened. I did some more research and whatnot. From what I understood, it was reported once here back in the States, but over there it was reported more in that general area around the Philippines, in those countries around there. From the very first one, the very first earthquake, the 7.6, that one created a tsunami warning, and it lasted like 2 or 3 hours, and that tsunami warning was going to reach all the way to Japan, which was couple of 100,000 or 2 miles away from where the Philippines are at. I don't know the exact distance. I'm just trying to give a ballpark. That tsunami threat lasted a couple of hours, and then it went away, and then the quakes kept happening and happening and happening. They announced there was about, at the time, before they continued, they announced about 7 quakes and about 24 plus aftershocks. Like, aftershocks, I did not feel it. There was aftershocks. They were very small. They have the seismographs to determine that. I don't. So all I got is planting my foot on the ground and seeing if it's shaking. We made plans to go have dinner that evening. We went to, I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it was a Korean barbecue buffet where the table has that little barbecue place, and you just put bits and pieces of meat to grill for yourself. But they also had a little buffet line for the rice and veggies or whatever else that they already had cooked. So we decided to go have dinner there, and it was her cousin's birthday, so we celebrated right then and there while we could. We were already at the end of our meal, so I was waiting for my missus and her cousins. They were talking there amongst themselves, and I was just sitting, like, kind of just waiting. Like, it's my last day. I'm not trying to rush anybody. I'm not trying to rush myself. I want to go home, or I want to get back to the condo and rest. But I mean, I'm still trying to enjoy my time being there. So while they were talking, I'm like, I started feeling some shaking, like a little rumbling, like you turn on a car and you feel that vibration, or some kind of muscle car, just to get an idea. You feel that vibration, but that's it. And I looked to my missus, like, you guys feel that? And they looked at me like, what do you mean, feel what? We didn't feel anything. And then it started getting a little stronger and stronger. Like, hey, there's an earthquake. What's going on? Look at the lights. And the lights, you see them swinging back and forth again at the restaurant. So I stand up. I see a lot of people standing up, and I'm trying to figure out, what are we doing? We need to get out of the building, but we also need to pay. We just finished our meal. The managers of the restaurant at the time said, look, just give us some of your information over here real quick. Don't worry about paying. Everybody evacuate. You'll pay later. You will call you, or you call us, come back, and we'll pay. And that's how they're going to handle that. So the missus went and took care of that real quick. Took like a quick minute, and then we all just rushed outside. The whole mall, because the Korean barbecue was inside the mall, the whole mall evacuated and everybody else outside. No, but they were not letting anybody inside to get the vehicles at the garage that they had, or nothing inside. Like I said, you have to wait a minimum of 20 minutes before you're allowed to go back inside the building, because you got to see how if the building is structurally sound, if you're able to go back, or if it's going to fall apart if you once you start putting more pressure on it. Thankfully, the condo where we were staying at wasn't too far, so I told the missus, okay, let's go walking, it's fine. We couldn't get a cab because everybody was trying to get a cab, so we'll just go walk, get a little exercise, let the food go down, and just be cautious because if there's another earthquake or whatnot. So that one happened, and we managed to get back to the condo, and I was able to get a small nap before making my way to the airport. The earthquake started getting more and more spread out, but they were still happening. What was weird is that every single earthquake that happened in almost the same exact general spot, within a 36-hour span. I finally made it through customs. I got my tickets, checked in my bags, went through customs and everything, got to the airport, and by this time my body was just like, I had constant anxiety. Like, I wasn't panicking, but my anxiety was feeling what's going on. My body was still shaking, my body was still trembling, but I was flying home, so I was trying to put my mind in ease. But experiencing that many earthquakes was kind of out of the norm for me. They started boarding the flight around 3:30, I believe, in the morning. My flight was in the morning, and once they got everybody boarded, the plane got off the gate and it was parallel with the building. So the plane's here, and I had my eyes closed because I was still very tired there. So I just have my eyes closed and I'm feeling the bouncing around. Okay, the plane's moving. We're gonna fly out. They're gonna move us to the runway, and we're out of here. But that wasn't the case. So we got off the gate, and we just stood there, and all that bouncing around that I felt, that was another earthquake. Oh my goodness. The captain got on the intercom and explained that they had to send some workers out to check the runway, to make sure that there was no cracks or anything broken on the runway so that we could take off, because they just a minute ago we just had an earthquake. So when I figured, or when I found that happened, I put my phone off the airplane mode, and I had to immediately call the missus to see how she was doing, and sure enough, she felt it too. It wasn't very strong. I don't remember how heavy that one was. The majority of the earthquakes were like between 6.0 to 6.7. Nothing hit over 7 anymore. And then there was a couple that were like at 4.5 or 4.7. Some of the smaller ones. So those ones I didn't really feel, but they were still reported. She told me that she had felt the earthquake. She was trying to contact me when it happened, so that's why I took my phone off the airplane mode. And again, she had rushed out of the condo and stayed outside wherever it was at, and waited to go back inside. And I told her, look, you be safe, be very careful, and if you can, try to get some rest, because again, it was in the middle of the night. We were very tired. Shortly after that, the pilot said, all right, the runway's good, we're gonna take off. So, oh my goodness, guys, I was shaking up so bad. The plane has turbulence. You're gonna feel that. So I was okay with the turbulence, but ever since I left Davao, all the way up to a couple of days ago, I landed back home on Monday evening, and I've been home for about 4 days, I want to say. Yeah, I've been home for about 4 or 5 days. And it's only been like a day or two ago that I finally was able to shake off that feeling about the earthquakes. Those earthquakes got me so jittery. It's a scary thought, guys. It's I don't know if you guys have ever gone deep sea fishing and the swells are about 3 foot, maybe 5 foot here and there, or like the swells are kind of heavy, and then when you get done fishing, you get off the boat and you don't have your sea legs, you still feel like you got that motion of bouncing up and down on the boat. That's exactly how I felt from every single earthquake that I did feel. I felt like my body still had that motion sickness where like I was still feeling it. I kind of still feel it now, but it did shake off mostly away, so I feel more comfortable about it. Um, but that was a heck of a last 36 hours that I was there. Um, since then, they have not had earthquakes going on. For my last day there, I mean that was a lot of earthquakes, so it got me shooken up a lot. Um, but thankfully I'm home. You guys can see me here. I'm home. Um, doing good. The missus is doing good. Everybody's having enjoying the extra time at the condo that we still have there. Will I not go back to Philippines because of earthquakes? No, I will. I will still find some time to go. I'm not gonna go anytime soon because I got no more money. I gotta go work. But the Philippines is a fantastic vacation spot. The scenery was beautiful. The waterfalls were beautiful. Tropical area. A tropical, yeah, a tropical area kept the weather just steady, nice and warm. The water, when you jumped into the water to swim, it's fresh. It's not cold. It's not hot. You don't have to worry about anything. It's a great place to go vacation. Do not let the natural disasters scare you into not going to the Philippines, because it's a great country to go visit for at least for one vacation. You don't even have to go to where I go to. Go to Manila. Manila has some spots to visit. Cebu has some spots to visit. There's a lot of places there in the Philippines to visit and try different foods and whatnot. I'd like to thank everyone for keeping up with some of my videos. I realize that I don't have too many subscribers, and then maybe some people that pass by and see some of the stuff. I still appreciate you guys. This is these videos are something to where I want to share my experiences with whoever is willing to watch them. My time on the zip line was fantastic. Will I get on a zip line again? Yes, but give me a year or two. That was a very trippy experience. Not knowing if the light's gonna start, like so much stuff was racing through my mind when I was doing that. Um, Street food was amazing. That's the first time I ever tried that fried crab. I mean, do we have it in the States? I don't know. I had where I live, I have not seen it, but that fried crab was delicious. And then the pepper that we had, I don't know what it was wrapped around. Like I guess kind of like an egg roll, but it was just wrapped. It wasn't just wrapped like a egg roll or spring roll, but it wrapped and deep fried. And oh my goodness, that was delicious. There was no cheese in it. Did I want cheese? Maybe to taste, but there was no cheese in it, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Nice, crunchy, juicy chili, and I would love to go back and get that again. That was delicious. Um, Samal Island, went to Paradise Island, one of the little spots there in Samal Island, and that beach area was awesome. The water was nice. I mean, we swam in on low tide, and it took a couple hours for the tide to come back up, and then we swam some more when the tide came back up. So got some great footage of underwater. I mean, that water, the deepest I was waist deep on high tide. On low tide, it was about knee high, and it still was fantastic. I had a blast. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe if you want to continue watching more content. And I do have a little surprise in one of my next videos. We're gonna test out whatever I have in this bag, and I'm not gonna reveal it into one of my next videos. So if you like to watch more content, guys, please do hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see what's going on. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and know your standard operating procedures for natural disasters. See you guys.